back to Captain's Call. I'm Captain John Bushey.
I'm Chief Warrant Officer Brooks.
And thank you for filling in. I know that it was a last-minute request, but we've got a couple things to go over with today, so let's start with our first question. Would you like to take that?
Yes, sir. First question, is there any way we could make an exception for MLCs to acquire a vehicle pass with a copy of the insurance that is required for us to bring the original when it arrives in the mail? I certainly do understand your frustration, because if I'm not mistaken, the original insurance takes about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to arrive in the mail. But we'll definitely look into the issue. There's several considerations that need to be taken into account, including local government of Japan requirements, as well as CNFJ and USFJ policies. I just ask that you be patient, and we will definitely get back to you with a good answer as soon as we can.
Yep, we'll have to check the policies before we can change anything, but thanks for bringing it to our attention, and we'll get back to you. So question 2 was, I've heard we don't have to do GMT anymore. Is that true? No, that's not true. So we no longer have to do GMT online for the regular GMTs. You still have to do your cyber awareness online at NKO or other sites that are available for that. The GMTs, though, have been moved to either large groups or small groups that the commands are responsible for individually managing. So we'll still do a GMT type of format, more in a group setting instead of the individual setting. And my understanding with that is to try to get a little bit more leadership involvement so that people aren't necessarily just clicking through slides, but that the training is actually received and understood. So.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Also, sometimes with GMTs as well, depends what's going on in the world, can influence if a GMT becomes mandatory in that calendar or fiscal year.
Yep.
So
That's true, because things change each year.
yes, sir.
So, all righty. So our third question here, we seem to get a lot of information at the last minute or after the fact. Is there a way that we can improve communication? So we have communications going in every different direction, but something that we're aware of is that a lot of times our junior folks don't have access to the computers during working hours in order to get information. So we definitely encourage you to take a little bit of your own free time and take a look on your own mobile devices at our Facebook page, at our Twitter sites. There's a lot of information that's out there on those sites. But also, if you get a chance, stop by your duty office. Many of them will have your plans of the week. Many of them will have the menus for the galleys. Many of them will have a lot of data that's available for you. The other thing we're encouraging, at least on the NAFA side, is to make sure that we are doing deck plate management and leadership, and that we're passing word. We have quarters all the time and making sure that the information that's put out is relevant. So there's 2 pieces to any type of information that's being sent. One is you have to have a willing receiver and a willing sender. The sender has to make sure that they are sending information that is relevant, but the receiver also has to keep their ear to the ground and make sure that they're paying attention to what's being put out. So another great avenue we have for information is our ombudsman. The ombudsman is essential to getting information out to the families. So I definitely encourage you, if you haven't already signed up with your ombudsman, get with your ombudsman and make sure that your spouse is getting information that the ombudsman may be sharing. So those are some ways to get information. So it's definitely a two-way street. We endeavor all the time to try to get information out and get information out the way you want to hear it, as well as the avenues that are most popular. So please be on the lookout for that and help out, because I can't necessarily give you a specific note that says these are the things that are applicable to you. We all have to have a little responsibility of looking out for that ourselves.
Yes, sir. And then most commands have 2 ombudsmen too, so that way if one's on leave or back in the States, there's always someone to reach out and have contact with. So
the last thing that I would throw out is that there's always somebody out there willing to help. So don't be afraid to ask the question.
Yep. And then our last question that we have today is, it's really not a question but a bit of a trivia. And the question is, who is a female sailor who led Comfair Westpac from 1975 to 1977? And if you think you know the answer, go ahead and answer below in the comments, and we'll let you know if you guessed right or wrong.
All right. Well, you got anything else for this week?
No, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.